welcome back to Meathead Gaming. The next giveaway will be an AK and a AWP, both redline. All you have to do to be eligible to win the skin is to be subscribed to the channel and to comment on any of my videos. The winner will be announced on the 15th of June 2019. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the video. Until next time, stay strong.
A little while now, so didn't realize that personally, but yeah, he's sitting in the middle. He's been doing the veto with Pitta. So anyway, we are into it. NiP on the T side. Inferno is a classic map. Every top level Swedish team can play it. NiP being part of so many historic Inferno matches. However, Astralis has always been just such an indomitable force here. So I'm curious if NiP can get off to a good start. They're pretty spread out right now. You feel like. You're putting the feelers out there, trying to get the information, see if Astralis are doing anything untowards, and everything's toward James. So now they're getting the bomb and moving towards the A bomb site themselves. But there are 3 players for Astralis already in waiting.
Get right to the utility man. He looks like he's about to deploy a smoke grenade. Kevlar for the rest of the squad. So there's a smoke to isolate some players towards the arch position, I think. Indeed it is. Library has been separated. Rez will go for the 1 versus 1. Very easily taken care of by Device, and Magisk will be hitting the first bullet as well. Headshots galore as far as Astralis are concerned. Ninjas in pajamas have a lot to do with Dennis. Now he's a man who we used to talk about a lot with pistols. But this is a really bad situation. Now they know where he is. Crossfire is pretty much guaranteed. It's 1 versus 4. And he may be peeking into 2 or 3 players at the same time. See the off angles being held. Trying to engage someone. He wants a 1 versus 1. He's about to get one. His effects is low, gets taken out, but there is the trade. Abusing it.
At least, some of the time. So I'm curious if NiP will be able to get any mileage with the battle on Banana, because you cannot allow Astralis just to have the map. You just can't do it. You've got to actually pressure away the map. Otherwise, they'll just be working with too many advantages. But as mentioned, just the Glocks and a Deagle here for NiP. Dennis on that Deagle, there he is. Oh no.
Oh yes. No. Oh no. You saw how Device was spotted jiggling the corner, immediately moved to the right hand side, as I think it was Dennis who was jiggling as well, playing the off angle, looking to fight. Ding dong with the Glock, not enough even from that range. Often the Glock needs 3 shots to the head to kill a player with a helmet. Glocks can really suck. And then there were 2. Gla1ve can fall back into a safer position, as can Device. Leave the high health players to peek first. 2-man set up towards Arch. The Deagle has been collected. So again, the Deagle's the only real investment in this round for Ninjas in Pajamas, but 1 frag and that's like $3,000–4,000 in damage. So they will try to squeeze everything out of this that they can. And you need to against Astralis. Astralis will give you nothing in most cases, so you must try to force everything you can, because it's all about the long game. Every frag counts. 19 seconds, and now we get to a point where the pressure is on for Ninjas in Pajamas to simply be frags. They need their loss bonus. There are the kills, and it's 2-0 for Astralis. No one is lost. Patient start for the Danes. So far, so good.
Yeah, all according to plan after the pistol. So now the buy come in from NiP.
Popcorn.
And I mentioned the battle with Bananas. I don't know that NiP will be all that interested in going for it this round, and one of the reasons is because actually no, Gla1ve should be able to get full utility as well, so they should be able to have mostly full utility. They are lacking some of the Molotovs that they may need, so that would probably discourage them from challenging too much on Banana. You can see that that's just an advantage Astralis is just going to have. They just have more utility here, and they've got 3 players starting at Banana at the beginning of the round, as often we will see for CT sides for the extra utility. And now Astralis have they have better map control. They will seem to have full vision of Banana. So NiP must take top middle, and it must be successful.
Dupree could get caught, and he will eliminate it immediately by Get Right. 1 shot to the head and dead. 3 players moving up the arch position, but they've got an AUG to deal with. Magisk with the scope, resetting the situation, moving around double stack at long range. Good for 3 kills. Marvelous hold from him. Dennis and Forrest remain 2 versus 3. Still some advantages because they're up against SMGs in their entirety. Astralis must be careful if they look to swap a weapon out. Now, pit has been taken control of. There are no smokes here for the T side. Then it's very well positioned, but maybe took too much damage. 8 HP now in his 2 versus 2.
He does have Forest alive with him though, who is full on HP, but with the lack of utility, that's slightly annoying. However, the side does offer a lot of coverage. Oh, very important 1v1 there for Forest, but he'll lose it against the UMP. That is very unfortunate. You feel like Forest with an AK-47 coming out of the pit position, no less, should be a surefire victory, but no. NiP will go down 3 rounds now. And this performance from Magisk, the 3 kills, that seems like it was just slightly too much for NiP to deal with. The AUG is so good at those spots. That was already a strong position, that headshot position, James, but now with the AUG and the scope and stuff, it's even more consistent.
Completely agree. The AUG has really changed the game.
Yeah.
In terms of defenses, multi-frags. Really hard to deal with these. If you can't identify where a player is very, very quickly, you've got to be on point against these AUGs. The armor penetration is sublime. Back to pistols. More dangerous than the 1 Deagle we saw previously. 3 Deagles and 2 CZ75s. Make it 2. NiP cuts to pieces very quickly. Gla1ve's got some Kevlar, but no one's taken any damage yet for Astralis. Got a flashbang in there, not perfect range. Oh, okay. He will get something out of it, and that's worthwhile. Yeah, $5,700 nice. Spent by device, and he's got to rebuy everything.
So it doesn't look great for NiP so far, just because they lost. They got wiped out flawlessly pretty much from the pistol. They had a full eco right after that. That's already 2 of the 4 rounds we've seen. So we've only really seen like 1 proper buy round until now. So I don't think anyone should be all that alarmed just yet. This will be the first round in which NiP could even possibly decide to challenge Banana if they wanted, because finally they have utility. Here we go. We got the Molotov pretty deep there as we see Dennis charging up. And a much more passive approach here from Astralis. Wow, what a shot there. Device connecting onto Lecro. He takes 1 in the head as well, which is pretty phenomenal. I would imagine that Lecro must have shot him through the apartments. He'll still be alive. So pretty cool to see a peek like that from Device though, in towards second mid. But now NiP have apartments control, and it looks like they're going to go towards B, leaving Get Right lurking towards Boiler. Pretty standard stuff here for Inferno. And considering that they've denied a lot of information from Astralis, Astralis don't know what's going on. So they're actually rotating Gla1ve back towards A.
Soon they will though. I feel like Gla1ve is inclined to peek the arch position once that smoke goes, which you can see on the radar. There is a peek from Forest, no flash, and that makes it very easy for Device because Forest is closer to the corner of engagement, so he will be showing to Device first. And I think the bomb is in an exposed position as well, but that flashbang is absolutely perfect. Timing for Device, and now there's an opportunity. However, Gla1ve sprayed through the smoke. Oh boy.
Flashing that player back, and then still having to deal with somebody on the site might be that might be the reason why they didn't flash. However, Device is pretty damn consistent, so here goes a quick banana push. The nade's actually doing some good damage. Gla1ve needs to hold on by himself for the moment. The push, the rotation is moving quite quickly, but Gla1ve is more than enough for this one. He's off to a fantastic start, James. He's 12 for 0 already.
Not too shabby at all. Devastating scopes on the Astralis squad. 5 AKs for ninjas in pajamas. Plenty of utility as well. The utility is displayed in order of purchase. I know some OCD types will want to also be all the Molotovs in a line together and so on, but they are displayed in order of purchase. So Ninjas in Pajamas with a focus. Oh, they're going to have a burst. I think Forest is going to throw a pop flash for his teammates. Dupree will avoid it though, but he can't avoid 3 players going through the smoke. A complete change of pace by Ninjas in Pajamas.
Yeah, this is really nice. I like how NiP are working with the basics here, and the good frag onto Magis, but Device from the pit position might be troublesome to deal with. How do they get rid of him? A Molotov will help, but the smoke is there to answer it, as Device now can dodge around and be an absolute nuisance. If he can find any more picks from this position, that will be terrifying. And they know that he's there still, and they will get the bomb down regardless as Device goes for the piece, hits the legs of Forest. Now down to Gla1ve, who so far has been having a great game, but Rez gets on the board with his first kill. Very nicely done, and it's the first round for NiP. It's 1-6, but I have to say, James, I feel like even though it's not been that successful so far for NiP, I feel like they're playing some really good basics on Inferno. I feel like it's just difficult against Astralis.
Most things are difficult against Astralis. Now let's see if they can get that consecutive round. With the damage they did here and there, the odd frag, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they could potentially put Astralis in an eco situation very, very soon if they can get a consecutive round. Big if. And it would need to be by elimination in most cases. Some harassment through the thin walls, the cheap plaster, will help Ninjas in Pyjamas move through the apartments. Oh, I'm sure Dupree spotted these players, but he's in good for the frag on this occasion. Mattis is, however, he's got support. We've got the his teammate falling back from short as Device, but he's back straight up in time to catch Dennis off guard. NiP trying to capitalize on an opportunity. It looks like they see windows of opportunity and they're looking to really capitalize on those before Astralis can adjust. On that occasion, didn't quite work out for them, and now Astralis have the man advantage.
Yeah, that peek from Dennis looks pretty crazy. It's sad for NiP to almost throw away the 4 versus 4, as that is significantly easier than the 3 versus 4 they currently find themselves in, of course. And there's still some time on the clock, but they don't have any control towards Banana, so they're committed towards A, and this should be pretty pedestrian for the remainder of Astralis to defend. It's a good return from Forest, though. Difficult shot to hit. Time pressure now as there's less than 30 seconds to get this bomb planted. More defensive efforts there from Device. Good shot from Lekro. He's alone. 2 players to deal with. Another fantastic headshot coming in from Lekro. Gla1ve, last man standing, and up on the box he goes, but it's Gla1ve with the frag. Another one for Astralis.
Yeah, that was a key round where NiP could have broken Astralis, but the opportunity still arises because Astralis survived with very, very low numbers, well, the lowest number, and NiP can still buy, so there's a second opportunity for them to do the same. But they need to capitalize on it. You can see Astralis' loss bonus is at the minimum, so it's very important for the Swedes to be able to win this round. I think if there's a chance to make Astralis uncomfortable, maybe that's their way in. I think that was the play with rushing on short in the previous round. But it's a pretty hard job to do, especially consistently, as Astralis make it look easy on Banana. NiP caught completely off guard. Rez was not expecting that to happen. And there's no answer. There's no answer to that. You're smoked off. The map control has been taken by Astralis.
I like how they're keeping 2 players on Banana as well. You don't always want to send someone back. We can go into the reasons perhaps in a moment, as NiP now have top middle control, and Sipex is the watcher of Arch, but he'll be flashed. Oh, sorry, smoked off there on library. There's not actually no flash through the smoke. Okay, there's the flash. So they go for the burst through the smoke. 2 kills, though. There's a fantastic result, just leaving Forest alive. A headshot position to deal with there towards the crawl space. Oh dear, this is not very fun, is it, for Forest, as he will try to work his way through the smoke. It tells you that NiP are struggling to get through this map control portion.
Dan.
I know, it's okay. No one tell Henry. He would be quite triggered. But yeah, they're struggling to get past the map control portion of the sort of opening of the rounds and converting that into a bomb take and a close part. This is not happening. That's where the T's get advantage, is truly is when you get a good post plant, some good positioning, and the clock is set onto the CPs for a retake. That's where you want to be.
I feel like there's a lot of paper rock scissors. And NiP are losing like every single one. For example, when they threw the round prior, when they threw the smoke towards Arch, and they didn't seem to be expecting a re-smoke off the Arch position by the CTs. Then they're trying to force their way through. There's a multi-frag with the AUG. They trade that kill, and then that's like the only kill of the round. With the Arch pick, there's no more success. It's crazy just how good Astralis are. again, NiP, there's still, I mean, they could still get, let's say, 6 rounds out of this half. That's still a possibility. So, and a part of the importance in trying to get there is doing damage in rounds such as this, which is why they may go on for a while.
You'd get risk trading trading him there because he's taking first contact.
I guess with those entries, you know, you're in a very strong position. You've got the numbers, you've got the psych, you picked up 2 rifles. So I think just having to watch the team lose the round after that, is probably frustrating when you think, okay, this is we're back, guys. This is how we turn things around. But it's not quite the case. But again, they've done a lot of damage. So they're on the buy once more. So there's still that potential to get 6 rounds. They've had 2 chances to break Astralis. Maybe this is another one.
They're definitely going to be stronger on the... I mean, NiP is typically a stronger team on the CT side, on most CT sides. So, you know, as you say, like if they can get to at least around the 5-round mark, they should be okay. Just have a pretty damn competitive Inferno game. However, look at the amount of damage that NiP has received. Every single player has received pretty significant damage. That's not bad. Obviously, Astralis' utility usage, their play behind smokes is pretty excellent.
It's so awesome how far we've come in Counter-Strike just in terms of the usage of utility. I was about to say, well, a more successful push with a smoke on arch.
The more open maps is when you can really get to see more play from the likes of, you know, a Rez and a Forest and a Dennis. They get more space to sort of run around and do damage. You're going to see more consistently good results from them. But here you have to fight against the team play of Astralis, the utility usage and timings of Astralis, the many different CT setups from Astralis, which can be hard to predict. You got to fight against all of that before you can even get your players into spots where they can maybe get frags and take position on the map.
Rez has a lot of difficult positions to play, I think, which is quite interesting. The sheer abuse he's exposed to, like Banana, for example, trying to hold some map control for the team on the CT side of train, just getting naded constantly and pop and so on. Oh, he's just going to get his bow rung immediately by Gla1ve as well. That was absolutely disgusting. Yeah, he's got a tough task ahead of him. But he has Dennis there to have some position on Banana. In the meantime, there's just shy of a minute left for Ninja's Pajamas. They've taken top mid, so they've got Banana, they've got top mid, they've got denial of information. However, looking at the positions of Device and Dupree, the double Ds, it doesn't look like they will be staying in their positions for long. So I feel like they're going to soon get some information toward that top mid position. Dupree will be smoked off, but Device with the AWP, he might not be too shy to have a look towards shorts.
The smoke's going in, and Gla1ve is standing in front, very confident, but he'll have to back away due to the flash work of NiP. Zipex, though, looking for his moment to go in there. A Dupree with some sprayed through as well. And looked out by the utility of NiP. Ooh, that looked pretty close. But look how few positions NiP have to stand in. They don't have construction. Side, which is hold on to that, but they can get smoked. Okay, there is no smoke to smoke up Banana. So this looks really promising for NiP.
This will be an interesting one.
They don't have quite the presence, I guess, that they had a couple months ago. But still, they are an incredibly good team, and it especially shows a map like this. Just looking to hold his ground at the top of Banana as he goes for the Y peak, but Dennis absolutely ready.
It's a stark difference, the approach to Banana, when your opponent has a lot less money and they don't have really the utility to hold as they normally do. Again, if you're looking at the scoreboards, it doesn't really tell the whole story if you look at like Rez 2 for 10. If you look at what has been asked of him to try and have some presence towards Banana so you're not completely choked off against the arguably the best team in the world at this point. That is a very, very tall order, but here they are. Again, they've managed to break that money. Now they've only got really an AWP to deal with. Although Gla1ve's on a deagle as well. He's 19 for 5, so who knows? Maybe he's feeling it. And NiP will wait out the smokes, I think. They've got Lecro in mid, keeping the opponents honest. Nothing crazy happening for the CTs. They wait.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Now he's like arguably the best team in the world, as they no longer have the #1 spot in HLTV anymore. But at the same time, the context around it creates questions, and that can only really be answered with some time. It's a nice shot from Gla1ve. Is it small consolation? Perhaps it is, because the B1 side is completely open and there's not too much they can do to get it back in there.
Yeah, the Zipex and Gla1ve just ran up to B1, and Forest was
Off and
yeah, look what happened in that
Inferno.
match.
And that was I believe a 12-3. Was it 12-3? First off,
I don't want to talk about that match.
Yeah.
It went on for very, very long.
What I'm saying is, I feel like Gla1ve is performing better in a more difficult match. Well, first half at the very least.
Lucky to get away with that. Slightly too far, those HEs. Nice idea, though, from Ninjas in Pyjamas. The third man towards B will rotate back towards A Dupree with half his health again. There's more utility for Astralis, but they have... It's going to be a slow take, but that smoke on the top is going to be very...
And the UMP is out for Astralis. I think this is one of the maps where the UMP is you know, you might pick it in certain spots on the CT side over the MP9. And Device with the opening pick there at the Forest, finding him down middle. And you talked about 6 rounds, and it might very well be possible still here for NiP, which would be quite surprising to imagine, considering how they were getting blasted in the first 8-9 rounds. There it is, Gla1ve using that UMP to full effect, close range on Banana. And that's the problem. You know, you don't know how many people, like what Astralis are doing behind the banana smokes. And Mad just finds his way out of boiler into one. Almost a chance at a second. Rez and Get right now with so much to deal with. This is just falling apart.
Tall order indeed for Rez.
That's a good spot. That's as good a spot that we could ask for NiP, considering the context of that first half.
Yeah, I think it's, again, they had a few chances to make a difference and they finally managed to do that. NiP trying to sneak down mid, got caught as they walked into the bench. Unfortunate timing for them. They don't want to lose both these pistols. That would be somewhat disastrous, especially against Astralis. Rez still making his way down. I don't think he was detected, it seems. Gla1ve looking at 6 now. Oh, I think he's going to see him just about. Rez trying to make a play, but it's all about these headshots. A P250 for Dupree. It's not often that you see a P250 on the T side of Inferno. A lot of closer ranges, so I think many teams will prefer everyone to have Kevlar or grenades, but here is one for Dupree. It's done the job so far. One headshot for him, and this is looking really bad. It may be a short game of Inferno if NiP loses pistol. Pistol rounds don't have the implications that they used to have, but for Astralis to win both pistols, I think, still has strong implications.
Yeah, I like how Device baited out Forest for the peak, sort of outmaneuvered him, committed him to a wide swing. And you may think, you know, what does that mean? Sometimes the way that you're moving in these engagements around cover, if the other person's looking for the engagement, and in that case Forest was, you know, they're down players, you need to find a 1v1, and you need to confidently take it and win it. And that's just the play that you have to make. And so I think Device kind of was able to sort of suggest that he was going to keep taking that fight, and then Forest was pushed into the open with a swing. Dennis able to trade one kill back, but it's more about money than anything else at this point for Dennis, picking up some extra kills, but it'll only be the one, and I think that was the case in the first pistol round as well. NiP unable to really get any damage done, so it's a pretty rough spot because you're kind of encouraged to go for the full save in this position for NiP. There's a strong argument to do it, and on Inferno you don't want that to be the case. You kind of want to force buy, honestly, because if you lose the pistol, you want to... I mean, it's one of the strongest maps for a CT force buy, firstly, because the value of smokes, CZs and so on, how effective they can be around the architecture of the map, but ultimately, if they have this full save and then they buy the next round, they're not going to have as much utility to take Banana aggressively. You know, having an AWP with Kevlar, with grenades is going to be, you know, well, it's not going to be possible. So you're kind of handicapping yourself, and so it's a horrible position to find yourself in. And NiP have it all working against them right now.
Not bad. Not a bad start. They have position on the entire site, so should be a formality. Lots of SMGs to make some bonus money with. Okay. That kind of sucks with Zipex. A little extra money for Get Right. Not a whole lot of money to be made here for NiP unless they somehow got a knife kill. Gla1ve and Device are low though, so maybe there are more kills to be had. Maybe not. Lecro, there's a fair chance he catches something, but again, it's relatively inconsequential. The T side, you don't have the monetary pressures of the CT side. Won't be too concerned with the SMGs and so on, and they're making those juicy kill bonuses. 12-5 for Astralis, and the game starts on this second half. So a hell of a lot of pressure for Ninjas in Pyjamas. They need to break the money quickly for Astralis, and if they can do that, then they could get 8 rounds on the board fairly promptly. But that is definitely easier said than done. Even with all these SMGs, Astralis will be looking to outposition their opponents and just generally outplay them.
And it's really sad as well when you're in IPV here, because you have to spend the $4,000 on getting helmets if you can, because even though you need utility desperately, you know there's a bunch of SMGs out in the field, and you want to, if you're going to get a lot of firepower, you really need to protect it. And I like this, Get Right's playing aggressively, that they can't really give up an arm despite the low amount of utility. They kind of have to just make it work, and they try, but it's failed. It has failed enormously, and unless, oh my god, what a peek from Gla1ve with the FAMAS. Oh man. And that's the round over. And I was wondering actually that there is an argument to see more FAMAS on NiP just so that they can have more utility, and perhaps with more utility they'll be able to have more success in a round such as this. It is a map that really is impossibly hard to play the CT side with low utility. You need to have maximum utility. They're going to try to protect these guns, but with the SMGs, there is very little for Astralis to worry about in terms of, you know, what they give up here. They can absolutely just commit almost all their players to hunt down the remainder of NiP, of which is just
in Pyjamas, but it is a cold start so far on Inferno. 4 players will head towards A for Ninjas in Pyjamas. In the meantime, Astralis will clear out the banana area. Bit by bit, we can see how this is what's of interest in this particular round is how Astralis use utility and personnel and numbers to have the safest approach possible to an area. On this occasion, it's the B bomb site. We see that Get Right's got a counter smoke grenade to try and deter Astralis to ruin the timing. Device is already ahead. He's vulnerable to a USP shot now. So you want to stay deep in the sights to protect the AK-47 that he's holding. Zipex moving up for a Coffin's plant, so planting that way leaves you less vulnerable to spray from the Coffin's position, from behind the Coffin's position if you had like a smoke up in construction or something. So that's the main focus in a round such as this. But it will be 14-5.
Yeah, really easy opening for Astralis. As you say, with the victory of the pistol, still just due to the fact that, you know, starting with the initiative or the easy initiative, and again these harder decisions that NiP have had to have made with their economy makes things pretty awkward. Off they go for them. Finally, they're going to have. I mean, this is the crazy thing, is that NiP will have one chance now with, you know, effectively, because this is the only good buy that we're going to see from them if they are unsuccessful here. So it's got to come. This has to be a success. It's got to come down to this. I'm curious whether we'll see Lecro take any particularly aggressive peaks, if they'll go for some sort of a Hail Mary, or if they'll just try to play this as normal as possible. You'll see 3 opening things up towards Banana, as is typical for this map on the CT side. Extra utility early on for the Banana defense or offense, as the case may be. And you see Astralis fighting for it. And really just basic, look how much utility has been baited out here as well from Astralis, and look how much they're sitting on versus what they've forced out from NiP. NiP have committed a huge amount of utility to control Banana. If Astralis come in with one flash in about 30 seconds, they've probably undone all that work from NiP with one flashbang.
Just over a minute on the clock for Astralis. Do NiP feel inclined to try and take the game away from Astralis with some good timing? We saw, oh, that's not a good start for Zipex, a rare miss from him. We saw some success from Furia on Nuke with their aggressive smoke in the lobby, which kind of put Astralis out of sorts. It might be more difficult to do that on Inferno. As you can see, there is a take of the top mid position. 40 seconds remaining. Now, we've still got Rez spotting Banana, but Get-Right's gone back to Banana even though he hasn't seen anything. And indeed, it seems like Astralis want to at least show the bomb over there. We've got Gla1ve and device. Gla1ve with 12 HP poking towards the Banana position. So this could be very, very interesting, but there's still action towards that A bomb site. And it seems that Magisk will be sacrificed, although he's still managing to take people with him at the moment, clearing out the A site. But here comes the procession. 10 seconds, Rez, all he needs to do is take out the bomb planter, and he will probably win the round, as long as Get-Right survives. But he's going for Zipex instead. He's just got to play for the beeps. And all the round is won. Get the bomb rolling on the floor. And I think there's a round win there, but I don't know if there was awareness with the clock, but I really feel like, or maybe he thought the player to his right was closer, but I really feel like all you need to do in that situation, as long as Get-Right is safe and he can hide somewhere, wait for the plant, take out the planter, there's probably not enough time to pick up the bomb and plant it again, or maybe that's how you're going to win that round. Otherwise, you're going to lose the round and be at game points. Are we trying to break off?
Well, NiP this time have had to go down to FAMAS to try to have more utility, and you get right with a respectable rifle. Although I shouldn't disparage the FAMAS. I'm a fan most of the time. You can see that Astralis just waiting for the pushes. They know that NiP are in a desperate spot, and they're taking full advantage of that. So now that there's a minute left and 2 picks have been made, Astralis can start to think about coming together as a team to ferry that bomb towards a planting position. A and B are still both great options at this point. It doesn't really matter where they go, honestly. As long as they do it together, they'll be fine. And there's a quick pop flash play and another frag unanswered by Astralis. And this is the slowest of bleeds, but NiP will be bleeding out. However, there is still play in this series, of course. This is just the first map. But this is not a great start for NiP.
Good thing it's best of 3. Rez now is dead. And that is a solid game of Inferno as far